So to speak on an appeal, please raise your hand, and Ms. Teresa will turn everyone on. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dean? Mr. Fitzgerald? Here. Ms. Casabon? Here. Mr. Davis? Here. Mr. Tanner? Mr. Toledano? Present. Mr. Lorino?
Here.
Mr. Canulet? Mr. M. Smith?
Here.
Ms. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Stefanczyk? Mr. Bender?
Here.
Mr. Airy?
Here.
Mr. T.J. Smith? You have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on an appeal, please put a card in, and so we can recognize you. The cards are up in the front. Please come in and sign the card, and that way I can call on you when that appeal comes up. And we'll wait a minute and let you all do that. But everyone that wants to speak needs to have their own card, please. If you're for or against, you just need to look at it. Okay, with regards to the appeals, and I'll go over it once again for you when we get started, but the speaking time per side is 10 minutes, 3 minutes rebuttal, and a 2-minute conclusion. So each side will have 10 minutes and 3 minutes to discuss the appeal issue, if they so desire. Okay? And I'll wait just a minute while a few people fill out that card, because I don't want to pass them by. I don't know which one they're here for. I probably should have said that a little bit earlier. I apologize. Also, for the council members, if you're going to vote no on an issue, please say it pretty loud so Ms. Teresa can hear it when we vote. Everything will be verbal vote. Okay, we'll get started, and I'll just ask if the people that are filling out the cards on this appeal. Number one, under appeals, we have Jeff Shane appealing the Zoning Commission denial on March 3rd, 2020 to rezone 83.51 acres located south of Dove Park Road, west of St. Tammany Trace and Highway 59, Mandeville, from A-1 Suburban District to A-1A Suburban District, A-2 Suburban District, A-3 Suburban District, and 1-1 Industrial District to A-4 Single Family Residential District. This is in Ward 4, District 5, Mr. Toledano's district. Mr. Shane, do you wish to, and if anyone is here with a card on this number one appeal, please let me know as we go forward. Just raise your hand. Okay, I see no one here on that. Mr. Shane, would you please?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair and Honorable Council. Jeff Shane is the Jones Michelle Law Firm, and I represent the petitioner. I would respectfully request that the first two appeal items be considered together, realizing that they need to be voted separately. And I would ask that Councilman Toledano, who I've spoken with today, I believe he has some remarks that he wishes to make with regard to these cases.
He always has remarks, Mr. Shane. But thank you. Mr. Toledano, do you have anything possibly to say?
Thank you, Mr. Lino. I always appreciate your graciousness. No, these cases are companion cases, as Mr. Shane made reference to. They are being looked at carefully, and I understand that the applicant is considering making changes in his original application. I believe procedurally the proper way to handle this would be to entertain a motion to postpone, and I'll so move.
Okay.
That it be postponed to the July meeting.
Okay. Is that's not what I see here for, under mine, Teresa? Is that something different?
That's what the last that
I'm sorry?
that's the last that I heard of.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure Mr. Taladano had it right.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that procedurally we're in good
Okay,
shape.
Okay, so you want to make a motion to postpone to
That's
the
correct.
next month's meeting? Is
Yeah,
that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Taladano to postpone to next month's meeting, a second by Mr. Fitzgerald. Please raise your hands if you support.
And Mr. Lorino, in similar form, I'd like to...
Hold on one second, Mr.
I'm sorry.
Taladano.
Motion is unanimous, 3 absent.
Thank you. We have number 2, Jeff Shane appealing the zoning commission denial on March 3rd, 2020 to rezone 83.51 acres located south of Dove Fork Road, west of St. Tammany Trades and Highway 59, Mandeville, from A-4 single-family residential district to A-4 single-family residential district and PUD, Plan Unit Development Overlay, Ward 4, District 5. I know, Mr. Shane, you've already expressed your opinion, so I'll go to Mr. Taladano and see if he has anything at all to say on this.
No. In similar form, for the reasons I stated before, I'll move to postpone item number 2
Okay,
to the July meeting.
okay, thank you very much. We have a motion by Mr. Taladano to postpone to the July meeting, second by Ms. Casabon. Please vote.
Aye. Oh, whoops. Hand voice.
Motion is unanimous, 3 absent.
Thank you. We'll go to number 3. Alan Walker, Elena Pelter, Amos McManus Sr., Sonia Mayo, et al. Appealing the zoning commission denial on March 3rd, 2020 to rezone 0.24 acres located north of Indian Village, east of Indian Mountain Lane, and west of Old Pearl River, Slidell, from A-3 Suburban District to CFB-1 Community-Based Facility District, Ward 8, District 13. Mr. Ayers.
Due to some lack of notice, apparently, that the petitioners are claiming, and the fact that they want some additional time to be able to go door to door once the COVID-19 epidemic is a little bit, the social distancing rules are relaxed, they've asked me to postpone this to the July meeting.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Ayers to postpone to the July meeting. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Stavancic. Please vote.
Motion is unanimous, 3 absent.
Thank you. Teresa, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. Damon Cousin appealing the zoning commission denial on March 3rd, 2020 to rezone 0.11 acres located on the south side of Oak Street, west of Beach Street and I-10 Slidell, from A-3 Suburban District to A-3 Suburban District and MHO Manufactured Housing Overlay, Ward 9, District 12. Ward 9, District 12. Okay, we have a couple of cards here. We have a Clifford Schuler. Mr. Schuler? What's that about? Okay. Are you, excuse me, I'm sorry?
I'm Mr. Kuzan, yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Mr. Schuler?
Kuzan.
Okay. Please come on. You have something you want to say about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me remember what I said. 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And I'll let you know when to start that. In about 1 minute here. I forgot how to do this now. I don't know if it's hooked up. All right. Okay, sir, please go ahead. See, that's what happens when you forget how to do them.
Thank you all for taking the time to listen to me this evening. I promise I won't take up too much time. I purchased a trailer years ago. The mobile home was in disrepair. I purchased it for $10,000. Since then, the value of the lot and the property has gone down 40% to a parish assessment of about $6,000. Multiple times trying to sell it, the question was, what can you actually do with it that will make it economically viable? I did not have an answer, so I sought out my real estate agents who tried to assist me. Along with a couple of bankers trying to build site-built homes, we come up with the minimum cost of about $139,000 based on who we were using. Well, the valuation according to the realtor is going to come in after we build it of just over $100,000 because of the flood zone. They're discounting it because of the flood area. So without being able to sell it and without being able to build a site-built home, we went back to the drawing board and decided that maybe going back with a mobile home was the answer. So we sought out a mobile home dealer here in Covington, went through looking at the new mobile homes that they have. We were able to get one, purchase it for about $85,600. It's complete with granite, tile floors, and 3 beds, 2 baths. Very nice home, double wide. It fits on the lot, and it works with the setbacks in the area. The subdivision, Howes Beach, has about 6 roads total, of which there are 30 improvements, and that includes the mobile homes. 80%, over 80% of the improvements are mobile homes. Now, I've got pictures of every improvement. I know that because of the pandemic, I can't give them to you, but I've got pictures of the properties on the street that we're trying to put it on, and I've got pictures of every improvement in the subdivision. And most of them are in disrepair, so I understand the concern about putting another mobile home in the area. That's why I didn't seek to purchase a used mobile home. I went straight to a dealer to get a new one. I'm just trying to put up like housing in the area, and with 83.3% of the improvements in the area being mobile homes. On Oak Street itself, which is what we're talking about, there's one site-built home on the corner of Beach Street and Oak Street, which is directly across the street from where I'm trying to put this mobile home. There's another site-built structure, and it's actually a multi-family property, and if I'm not mistaken, it's zoned for single-family use, but there's a multi-family property in that area. The other 10 structures on that street include a business where they store RVs and trailers full of building materials. That's directly across. There's an RV that has a tarp for a ceiling, a roof. Someone stays in there, the dog's in the yard. There are multiple, probably unauthorized businesses in the area. A lot of vacant lots. And so those two homes are the only built structures on that street. And there are 2 of the 5 in the entire subdivision. The rest of the subdivision is all mobile homes. So what I'm trying to do is make something that is not economically viable right now become economically viable. Right now it's generating no revenue, and we can't sell it. We can't build a site-built structure and without losing money. But we can provide a good home for a family if we put a very nice mobile home that's better than what's in the area already. Now, the original cost was $10,000, which kind of tells you what it's worth, what it was worth. We removed it, and I didn't know at the time, no excuse, that I had to get it back in a certain time frame. So I allowed too much time to find solutions for the property before I went back to the table with the mobile home idea. But trying to get like housing for the area seems like a viable option. After we get done with the property, it'll be worth just over $100,000. So there's absolutely no way that what I'm doing is going to depress the property values. And if I wish I could show you the types of homes that are in the area right now, besides the site-built homes, they would. There's nothing that I would put up that would even come close to this. And we would improve everyone's value based on what's in the area now. Like I said, the current value is $6,000. It's reduced to 40%, and I can't even sell it for that. Each lot is 25 feet across. So it's not really built for anything given the setbacks besides a mobile home with 25 feet across. That's all we've got in each lot. Now, I happen to have 2, and I would have to use 2 just to meet the setback for a mobile home, the size of the mobile home that I'm trying to put in. I talked to the dealer in Covington. He's got a lot of experience. He said that he's 100% certain that he can deliver it without incident or disturbing any of the other properties in the area. And he can have it set up to code. I've got time in this business, and I've got a lot of ties in the community. And I've got a grand total of 0 complaints on every property that I own in Slidell and the North Shore area. Although it's not in my interest to depress anyone's property value. I've never done that. It's not in my interest to hurt anyone. I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is make something that is sitting there not doing anything for anyone. And especially in this time that we're in now where there's a lot of economic uncertainty, it gives someone a good home at a good price without costing my family in the process. And that's, I have the pictures, and if anybody needs to see what kind of area we're in, it's here. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you listening to me. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Cousin. Yes, sir. Mr. Cousin, would you kind of give those pictures and just let them
Okay,
pass it around?
I didn't want to assume that anybody wanted to touch anything, but these are the ones from the subdivision. These are the ones from the street that we're actually building on. And this is the double that's on the same street. Now, inside, here are pictures of the inside. Now, these are a little blurry. Inside of the trailer that I have a contract to buy. And I don't know if you wanted to see that as well. Kuzan, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, could we just ask that, for safety,
Yes, sir.
we don't want everybody
Right.
touching the same items.
Sure.
Would you show them to us, please?
Absolutely.
right.
I didn't want to exceed my time, but
You go ahead. Under this circumstance, you go ahead and show them, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, will do. These are the properties that are on the street that I'm planning to put a brand-new mobile home on.
Okay, so that's the property?
These are just the properties that are surrounding.
Oh, okay.
These are the properties that are surrounding the property that I'm trying to improve.
Thank you.
This is the unauthorized business that's diagonally across the street where they store a bunch of building materials. There's no zoning in this area. This is every property that's on the street.
Thank you. Thank you.
This one might be tough to see because it's in the background, but it's surrounded by trees. More properties in the area. This is a lot, and this is what's stored here, directly across the street from the lot where they throw their trash. This is the RV in the same area. Nothing that I'm putting up is going to look anything like this. But I understand the concerns of the community. If you don't know my history or my integrity, that I would come in and do something like that. I understand the concern, and I would be concerned too. But I've never been accused of doing anything wrong. And I've got history. This is the subdivision itself. This is not the street. Those were just the street. This is the community itself. The community is largely mobile homes that have been there for some time. Very few site-built homes. And I'm just trying to give you a sense of what I'm going into to try to improve. Even when they're built up, some mobile homes have, like the one I'm going to show you next, is a mobile home. It looks like a site-built house.
Okay.
But I actually know the owner.
Just go ahead and show us.
Yes,
Your
yes.
time
Yes,
has
sir.
expired.
It's added on to. It's got permanent structures built around it. But the original part is a mobile home.
Thank you. I think we have a pretty good idea.
Pretty good
sir.
idea?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And remember, you have, we'll have a 3-minute rebuttal.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to just see what he was going to put there. I thought he said he had a picture there.
You can do that in a minute, Varga, when we get to the questions from the council.
Okay. Thank you for your time,
Thank
ladies
you,
and
sir.
gentlemen. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have 2 cards opposed to this, a Mr. Clifford Schuler and a Miss Rose Schuler. Okay, y'all have 10 minutes, so come on up and y'all can share it, use it whatever way you want.
Good evening.
Please state your name and.
Clifford Schuler,
Thank you.
562 my house was that red brick house
Just
that's
get kind of close to it.
right
so.
across from where he wants to put the trailer. He is absolutely correct. They do have trailers back there. When the storm came, we had trailers swept off from the surge, wiped out 2 homes, permanent homes that were built back there that had to be destroyed. After that, they said the only people that would be allowed to put trailers back there were people who had trailers there before the storm.
I
They
didn't,
grandfathered, but you can only, if you had a trailer, you could put it back. If you didn't have a trailer, they said, we went through all this with the zoning commission. That's why he's up here trying to change it again. The trailer he bought was vacant before the storm. Storm hit the trailer. It went to the bank. The fellow that owned that had an alligator business up around, I want to say the Pearl River turnaround. Walligator, I think it was. So he just let it go back to the bank, the trailer. And that was way before the storm hit. What my problem is, he's absolutely right. Trailers come back there after the storm. We had all new trailers back there. You saw the photos he showed you? They falling apart. Nobody takes care of them. They falling apart. The homes that are back there, if you didn't build, it gave you am I correct, a 1-year time frame to rebuild after the storm. Either put your, like I said, if you had a trailer, you could have put another one back at that time. If you went past that, you weren't allowed to do it. You had to build a home. We had people that had trailers back there that had to build homes because they couldn't make it, couldn't get the money together to make it in time for it. Where my concern is, he showed you the photos of the trailers that are back there. They don't take care of trailers. They fall apart. I think we have 2 out of all of them that look decent. And there is 8 permanent structures back there, houses, after the storm. And if you look at the homes, they are beautiful. People take care of the homes. What I'm afraid of, he's buying this lot, putting a trailer on it for rental property. How many that opens the door? And then what's going to happen later on? My property value would be useless. And he's absolutely right. That ECO, that's an ECO construction company back there. This fella has ties with the parish some kind of way. What they do back there is, I've been fighting this guy for years. After the storm, he wanted to make a mobile park back there. We fought him, and we got it stopped. But this, E.J. Orgon, he's got pull. That's all I can say. He's got pull. And I understand.
I don't think he has any pull with anybody sitting up here at the council.
Well, no, I ain't saying when the council.
We're gonna leave that go.
Right.
And you just
because we've been fighting for years.
Pay attention to me. Mm-hmm. You concentrate on what you have to present to us.
So what I'm saying is, by his own photographs, all the trailers that come back there, they were all brand new after the storm. We're talking about less than 15 years, 15. They falling apart. They do, people just, where every home that was built back there is well maintained. And I honestly think it's going to just bring all the property value way down. Because once you open the door for one, then another one, then another one, it's going to turn into a trailer park instead of a subdivision. And I was back there years ago with Robert Levis when we started that. Bill Garrett and them were back there. That's the subdivision. And I've been fighting. I've been before so many meetings. I'm worn out. We're constantly fighting because people want to do what they want to do, and all they got to do is go get a zoning change, and they can do what they want. You got to fight them every step of the way. Like for this meeting, my sister-in-law was called, not me, and I'm right there, yesterday evening. When I got home from work at 5 o'clock, I work in the city north, she told me about the meeting today. Well, I had no time to contact people and get it. There's no notice for it. Like last time, we had a crowd up here. I gave photos of how the trailers look and how the houses look, at the zoning meeting. And I'm telling you, I just don't, I'm tired of fighting, really. And I really don't want trailers back there again. Because of the fact they do not maintain them. They do not. Where all the homes are well maintained. And then to put a trailer back there now, you have to come way up because of flood elevation. Like if you look at my brick home, he showed you the photos of it. I'm 5 foot off the ground with that brick home. It's brick to the ground, but it's raised 5 foot. And then we're talking about another situation if we get a surge through there, here goes the same thing. We're gonna have trailers floating all over the place. Anyway, I'm sorry, but
No, that's
they got off
okay.
track, but he's absolutely right. That's been a sore in my side for years in the back. But at least it's in the back, out of my way, you know,
understand.
out of eyesight. And I thank you.
I thank you, sir. Ms. Rose?
Hey, my name's Rose Schuler. This isn't about the integrity of Damon and how he'll maintain his property or the type of trailer he's going to put there. It's about us changing the zoning. If you change the zoning, it is going to be allowed that people come in there and buy 50-foot pieces of property, or 225s in our case, and put trailers in there, or even homes. I want you all to think a moment about the amount of property you have around your home. And we left the city because we were tired of stretching out our arms, and perhaps some of you also, and touching the home next door, okay? I have a house I will never, ever see the payback on. I have 10-foot ceilings, I have Italian floors, I have 3/4-inch hardwood throughout, okay? You saw the pictures. My brother-in-law brought some of the same pictures, okay? If we allow this zoning to go through, you can't really build a home on 50-foot pieces of property. You'll need to have 75 or 100, or in our case, 400, to build a home and have a decent yard. We do not want that place to become crowded. My late son, his wife, wrote a thesis on the property, and she named it the Oasis in the concrete, Oasis in the concrete. Because you can come into our subdivision, and although the homes are still a mess, we have wooded areas. We're in the woods, but you walk outside, we have Walmart to walk away, we have a mall to walk away, we have all this commerce within arm's reach of us, which is kind of cool, you know? I don't want to see us get overcrowded. And that is what my fear is if he comes into the property. It's not what his particular property will bring to the subdivision. It could be a gold mine, it could have green grass and oak trees and, you know, whatever he can do with 50 foot of property. It's about what will come afterwards. It's about the influx of people coming in, buying 52, 25-foot lots, pulling in a trailer. And we don't know what they'll do. I don't know what he'll do, but I really don't know what they'll do. And right now, as he said, my property value has dropped, okay? It's going to continue to drop. If my house is across the street in Kings Point, which isn't all that great, or Clipper Estates, I could probably get $500,000 for my home. I'm not going to get, if I get $100,000 for my home, I would be making bank. And it cost me a lot more to build it. That is my fear. It's about the population of the property itself, the community. And unfortunately, as was mentioned at the last meeting, and I only bring it up because it was mentioning, someone on the board said they know him personally and they can vouch for him. Well, I don't have someone on the board that can vouch for me because I do not know any of you. I do not even know Mr. Bender, and I voted for him. So I don't have that. Okay, I don't have that. And that's the kind of stuff we've had to deal with ECO, okay? No one here, obviously, has any control over what goes back there. But yes, it is a dumping site for construction materials and trailers. And, I mean, a lot of other stuff goes on back there too.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And just on that subject, I think you need to go to code enforcement on that, and we have, I'm just throwing that out there. You go ahead and do that and see what happens. Mr. Kuzan?
Yes, sir.
All righty, you have 3 minutes to come in and any rebuttal you have, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for it.
You please go ahead.
Thank you for listening. I want to address a couple of things that she said. She said the one thing that I made mention of when I was up here is that she'll never see the payback on her home. That's also the reason why you'll never see any economic development in that area, because no one can come in and make it economically viable unless they do what I'm talking about. The lots are way too small to really do anything given the setbacks. So they were designed originally for the mobile home. So you have to buy more than one. That's how I got into this. Given and even the margins are going to be really thin given putting up a really nice mobile home. But I won't sacrifice putting up a really nice mobile home because I want to see the property values improve. If she's going to get $100,000 for her house, my information says that that's about where my double-wide trailer on the same 2 lots would be valued. 98.9, as a matter of fact, is what it was. So we're not talking about a whole lot of difference. I know that we won't bring anybody's property value down, given what I've already shown you. I don't want to be judged based on what could happen or what anybody else has done or hasn't done. I'd like to be considered based on my own merit and my ability to bring like housing to an area and provide a family with a stable place to live. Overcrowding, that's more a function of the lot size in the area because you don't have the space. It does force you, if you really want space, to come in and buy a bunch of contiguous lots, but there's no guarantee that they're for sale. So you kind of have to work with what you're offered, what someone's willing to sell you, and thus you're restricted in how you can actually improve the property. As far as trailers flying all over the place in a storm, given the storm she's talking about, there were a lot of things flying all over the place, and there's not a whole lot that we can do given the fact that we're human. That's on the Lord, and we would do everything humanly possible to see to it that we wouldn't affect anyone else's property. Thank you for listening. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Schuler and Ms. Rose, would you all like to come up and close? And I know you kind of ran out of time, Ms. Rose, but you can pick up.
I just want to
pick up from where you go ahead, ma'am.
It's not a judgment, again, on Mr. Damon and what he'll bring into the property. When Garrett Wood started selling those lots, they marked them off at 25 feet. Okay, so one lot is only 25 feet, which obviously, the reason I was told that was done is so that you wouldn't have to buy 100 feet. You could buy 50 at 75, 100. I don't even know how many lots my brother-in-law owns, okay? He owns a lot of lots. And you could increase the size of your lots. I myself started with 50 foot. And as I got older and had a little bit more money, I bought another 50 foot. So I had a 100-foot lot. And then we bought another 50 foot, which is the 50 foot that my home is built on with proper setbacks. I would not have any yard, but the home is there. We use the rest of the lots they're all adjoining. This is not any judgment towards Mr. Damon or any one person. It's about what will follow behind the changing of this zoning and people coming in and buying 50-foot lots and putting trailers, one next to the other. And that is really my biggest fear. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Schuler, you have a few minutes, a few seconds, rather.
I just hope everyone looks at it from my viewpoint. We got nice homes back there. I would like to keep nice homes back there. He himself took photos of all the trails. All the trails were new after 2005 storm, and you saw the condition of them. It's not practical to turn a subdivision into a junkyard. And, I just don't understand. It should be an easy thing. You'd think you would want the parish to be cleaner and beautiful looking. At least, that's why I moved over here. I've been in Slidell since 1974. And I could have stayed in St. Bernard and all that. I was born and raised in the city of New Orleans. Over here was so nice, That's why I moved over here. But I've been in an uphill battle from day one. It's unbelievable. I'm worn out. I'm 67. I'm worn out. I can't go no more. Right now, I'm fighting with a pinched nerve in my neck. I just can't go no more. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. Mr. Bender, I know this is in your district, and would you like to have the council ask any questions before you comment?
I would be happy to do that, Mr. Chairman. It might be beneficial, though.
I'll do it whatever way you want to do it.
Well, what I'm saying is it may be beneficial to my colleagues, and I certainly would ask any questions you want to give. However, both people, I think, are very well intentioned, both sides. But I need to make clear some misstatements that have been made.
Okay.
Because that will give you all a foundation for which to ask your questions.
Okay. Would you like to do that now?
Yes, sir, if I could do that.
The floor is yours.
Sometime later.
The floor is yours. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please, make sure that mic's on, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Huh?
You have to talk into the mic when they can't hear you.
Yeah. Can everybody hear me now? Okay. Mr. Cousin, do you pronounce it cousin or Kuzan? Kuzan. Okay. I figured it was Kuzan. I know some good Kuzans. Mr. and Mrs. Schuler, am I into the mic?
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, I think both sides are well-intentioned. Let me just say that. I don't see any ill intention here at all. I'm glad both sides are very civil with one another about it, because sometimes we don't see that. Now, to my colleagues, and I'm going to keep looking this way so I'll talk into the mic.
You go ahead, Jerry.
Going back 45 years ago when I moved to Slidell in the home that we're still in, all of the property in this subdivision and all of the property outside the city limits of Slidell in this entire area were and still are what they call lots of record. They've been 25 foot by either 110 or 125 foot lots, going way back to the beginning of the 20th century, or certainly well before World War II, okay? Now, what I want to say is the important thing to look at is, and I'm not going to get into mobile home versus stick-built at this point. We require a minimum for both sides. You have to have a minimum of 50 feet. You can't do anything with 125 foot. We would love if people, and many people have, in all of the subdivisions around this area that are alike, except some are more built out than this, have gone to 75 feet. Some have bought 4 lots. When they come up for sale, an extra 1 or 2. They got 100 by 110, 100 by 125. Some people have as much as 20 of these things together. And there are some very beautiful homes that are highly assessed and would very, very good money, okay? Now, all of that said, I'm going to hold my remarks in my decision, and let me just say up front, I don't know either of y'all personally, okay? So I don't come into this with any preconceived notion. You mentioned Mr. Ardorn. I met Mr. Ardorn maybe 1 or 2 times in the last 16 years I've served on the parish council. This has been in my district for the last 16 years. I've never been approached about, I want to do this. This has been on a case-by-case basis that we've ever looked at in this subdivision, as is the case in these other 2 that I'm referring to that have built out very well. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Jerry, and that helped out. And I'm kind of confused when I see a lot of pictures of mobile homes and then not putting one there. So, but anyway, we'll get
Mr.
there.
Chairman, if I could say,
yes,
so
sir,
the
go ahead.
council will understand this.
Go ahead.
Mr. and Mrs. Schuler's home, I didn't know their name before this. We never saw a picture of that.
Mm-hmm.
It is indeed an absolutely gorgeous home.
Good, good.
It's 2-story, stands out,
Okay.
very much does.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Taladano, I believe you had something you,
I don't know
who you want to,
any of the,
Mr. Kusan?
either one, either Ms. Kuzan or the nice couple right here, either one, jointly. Here's my, okay. Well, quite frankly, quite frankly, I was a little bit confused to why y'all was sitting so damn far apart, but I thought maybe, I thought there was a difference of opinion. In any event, I almost forgot my question, but I do have a couple of serious questions. Number one is, I did not hear the name of the subdivision. Did anybody say, what's the name of it? Thank you very much. The second question is, how many lots are in Hauser Beach? Approximately.
Hundreds.
I can make it easier.
Okay, hold.
How many homes are in
Hold
Hauser
on,
Beach?
Reichert. Reichert, we're going to do this the right way. If you want to speak to someone, please call them to the mic so that
Okay.
everything's on the mic.
All right.
Okay?
I'm going to call Mr. Kuzan. I'm
Okay.
looking closer
All
at
right,
it.
thank you.
Approximately how many homes are in Hauser Beach?
I have 30 improvements that I counted today, sir.
30, okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any clue how many lots are out there?
Hundreds.
How many streets are there?
There are 2 vertical streets and 4 horizontal streets.
Okay, and of those 30 lots that are improved, how many of them are either manufactured homes or mobile homes?
83.3%, sir.
Or what, please?
5 of them are site-built homes. There are 3 that are homes, but they're mobile homes with permanent additions around it. That'll be a total of 8. The remainder are mobile homes that are built.
Okay. And Ms. Schuler, do you subscribe that he's accurate more or less on that, ma'am?
Well, not on the size of the subdivision. I was there-
Reichert, I'm going to say it one more time. Excuse me.
I thought you said I would direct the
Okay.
question to him.
Reichert, when you want to call someone up, look at me and just say, I want to call this person
Okay,
up.
I got you.
Okay?
I want to call
All
this
right?
gentleman up
Okay.
right here.
Okay. All right, well, like I said, I was there from the get-go when Mr. Garrett had the property, the land. Actually, at my house, I have a layout of the entire subdivision. It goes all the way to the back. It stops on Violetto Street, it's called, all the way to the rear, into the wooded area. And actually, there's a home back there, which he evidently didn't see. It's raised up on pilings, since the sun. It's in the back. As far as how many lots, well, the graph I have, they all divided into 25. At the time I purchased land back there, I was told I had to buy a minimum of 50 foot, 2 lots. That's what
That's right.
future homes were selling.
That's correct.
Future homes, you had to buy them at, well, what I'm gonna do is just 50 foot, so I went, I bought 100 originally, then
Excuse me,
more.
sir. I didn't
But-
need any history.
Right, but it's big, it's pretty big, it's a pretty big area,
Okay.
really.
And do you subscribe to the fact that he's pretty accurate in the terms of the number of houses and manufactured homes? Is he close?
I would say, if you count mobile homes that are vacant since the storm, he might be close. Because we do have some that have never been removed since the storm back there.
Gotcha, okay. That's my question.
But as far as livable, probably 50-50.
Okay.
That's my question, Mr. Lorino.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I have one question, Jerry. Is the requirement now 50 feet or 25 feet?
It's always 50 feet.
Okay, so
Minimum.
the answer to me is 50 feet.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Kuzan is asking for 25 feet.
No, he's saying that he can't build two, okay? When he mentioned the 25 feet, Mr. Chairman and my colleagues, the entire subdivisions, these subdivisions that go back to the
Okay, okay.
they were all done in 25-foot segments.
Okay,
So that a person could buy 50 feet or 75 feet or 100 feet or
Okay,
125
okay,
feet, et cetera.
okay.
But it's always been a minimum, I think even to the police jury days, of a minimum of 50 feet. Part of that is they all have to have an old days septic and now the replacement for septic.
so it's 50 feet.
You have to have land to spray on.
Okay, all right, that answers my question.
Yeah.
Mr. Kuzan, do you have a picture of what you're proposing to put there? I was just curious. If you
have-
don't, just say no, that's fine.
I have pictures of the inside. I didn't take
No,
a
that's
picture of
okay,
the
that's
outside.
okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm finished. Any other questions from the Mr. Davis? I get you, TJ. Mr. Davis?
Mr. Kuzan, again, please come up. You're probably talking to the wrong person because I was on planning and zoning for a long time. But actually, it could be the right person in your case. How long have you owned these properties? And they're 25 foot, so you're talking about putting a manufactured home on a 50-foot parcel.
Yes, sir. We had, we had a survey done, and we had the diagram of the trailer put onto the lot with the appropriate setbacks. And it happened to mirror exactly what was there before.
Okay.
So J.V. Burks did the survey. They put the mobile home in position on paper so that I could bring it to the appropriate people, and that's happened to be the mobile home dealer that's
Okay.
going to set it up for me.
So realistic, but you had a mobile home on that property before. There was a mobile home. Did you own it then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what happened to that mobile home?
It fell into disrepair.
Okay.
And so my intention is to put something brand new so that it's
Okay.
nice, livable, and better than what is in the surrounding area.
Okay. And for those other mobile homes in the area that we've been hearing tonight, if they're in disrepair, somebody's got to call code enforcement, or we should recommend we send code enforcement out there and take a look at these other, manufactured homes, because that's just an eyesore. I mean, and I can understand people getting upset from that. But from a process point of view, it sounds like you're doing everything that you can.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hitt. Mr. Smith, Mike Smith.
Okay, so just to clarify a couple of things. Mr. Kuzan, you're saying that within the subdivision, the percentage of mobile homes in there is pretty high already, right?
It's above 80% total. Yes, sir.
Okay, and then, well, I've had rental property, so I can understand the homeowner's concern that while you seem very reputable, you rent something out and the renters trash it, or it changes hands, you decide at some point that you're gonna sell it, and somebody less reputable gets it, and then it goes downhill. I'd like to know what was, I kind of get the idea of why they denied you at the zoning commission, but more specifically what they said, or if anybody was there, or if we ever report on that. Why did they turn you down?
You know, I don't know, based on the vote, I believe that it was majority in favor of my being able to put it there, but I didn't know you needed a supermajority, so, but they didn't give a reason, they just kind of voted.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other concern is, while you might be very reputable, if you change this and allow you in, if we overrule it, then somebody else can appeal to put in a trailer over here on the same basis, and they might not be as reputable as you. So that's all my comments and questions.
I understand. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Ms. O'Brien?
Okay. You said that you are not grandfathered in because you left the property vacant for too long a period of time. What length of time was it vacant?
It's been a couple of years. My original intention was to see if a site-built home might work there. In the meantime, the property values decreased and thus the appraisal values of anything that we would build decreased, making it a project that's not economically viable anymore. So I went back during that same time to go back to the mobile home that we originally pulled off and say, well, maybe we just put a new mobile home there and maybe that'll be economically viable.
No.
Turns out it was, but by that time I had passed the time that you could actually put one in place of what you removed.
Which is why you were denied, because you were no longer grandfathered in. But I want to ask a question. You said your last piece of property fell into disrepair. Can you explain how that happened? Was that because of renters living in there? It was vacant, or what occurred? Because fell into disrepair, I want to know what happened. How did that happen?
Not during my ownership.
Okay.
I purchased it, it was already in disrepair. And I can only go by what's been told. It was part of it was that it was vacant while the bank had the property. And then part of it was the storm. So I came in after that to try to, this property is sitting there vacant and damaged for a while. And then I come in to try to see if I can put it back together again, because I believe I can fix anything. But it just didn't work out because there was too much that was already wrong. So that's when I needed to pull it off and either build something or put something in its place.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, the property is just, it was nothing that I could do to save it.
Okay, so it was not while you owned it, is the question?
No, ma'am. I purchased it long after it was vacant and already damaged, so the disrepair happened long before I got there.
Okay, I was just curious of how that occurred.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. O'Brien. Mr. T.J. Smith?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. In the absence of a microphone, I speak a little loud. So, I was trying to figure out which one of these gentlemen I wanted to ask to come up, but I think I want to ask Mr. Shooter to come up because he has more experience with that neighborhood. He could probably address my question.
Sure. Okay. I
That has to do with the existing properties in your community, in your subdivision, that you can, best of your recollection, about how many of them are rentals now?
Actually, the ones that are there, 2 are rentals, trailers. And they were 2 in the worst repair condition that he showed you. All the rest are privately owned. Now, he wants to put a rental, and I think that's what, someone asked about the vote with the planning commission, and I think that's what happened when they mentioned about a rental, if I remember right, with section 8. I think because it was gonna be a rental, and because I had photographs, which I don't know where they went to, we gave at the plan commission, to show them the difference between rental trailers and privately owned trailers, the people who are actually living in, the difference, with anything rental, people don't care. They just don't, they don't respect it, more or less. Whereas, homes, you're gonna respect the home because you're gonna lose money if you let it fall apart. But yeah, to answer your question, right.
About 2, you said. in conclusion, it would appear that there are a sizable number, now I don't even know what it is,
Okay.
a number of mobile homes in this community already. And my question comes to mind that, and nobody probably has the answer to that question, and maybe Jerry, I don't know. How many requests for MHOs have we had in this subdivision? It's a question that comes to my mind. In taking into consideration the fact that there is no MHO overlay in that area already.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, may I respond?
You asking Jerry a question on that?
If he can answer it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Councilman, I cannot recall one MHO request previous to this in this, you want to call it subdivision, it is, okay? Does that answer your question? Because I'm going to continue with that.
It does. But so one final question.
Sure.
How did so many mobile homes come in there?
Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, let me continue on, and then if this answers you,
Jerry?
I'd like to move.
Okay, well, hold on one second. I've been asking any council members if they want a question, okay?
I'm sorry.
Is there, I'm getting ready, I haven't looked to the right yet. Okay, Ms. Casabon, please
Yes,
go.
Jerry, could you tell me how long that subdivision's been there? How old it is?
I would say, well, the lots of record go back
But
probably,
when they started, yeah, the lots of record's been there since the 40s, but when we changed the requirement by the parish to take these lots of records and combine them into at least the two, you know, to make them 50-foot, that's been going on. Those trailers probably got there because of conditional uses that we had. It sounds like they've been there a long time. Is that correct? Or
yeah, Ms. Casbon,
because there was no overlay.
back when I came to the parish council in '04, there were already people living in the subdivision.
Correct.
I can't honestly tell you what percentage was what, but let me also add, because this is important for my colleagues and for the people here, and I think they will agree with this. We're hearing, and this is not against Mr. Kuzan, but we're hearing 83% mobile home to stick built. What's confusing about that is the amount of vacant property in this subdivision exceeds by far the amount of mobile homes or stick built. So when it comes my time, you're going to hear from me. There's an opportunity to develop this subdivision in a way that we need some development, which is affordable housing for people. Okay? But I'll go into that later. But it's very important to understand there are hundreds of empty lots in this subdivision, way more than homes, whether mobile home or, but I think, Ms. Casabon, to be fair, originally going back to the 60s and 70s, probably mobile homes were there when it was a conditional use.
Once it was established as lots of record, and I know in Mandeville and those areas, we instituted the 90 by 140 or something like that, where they had to, the developers had to buy, 2 and 3 lots to make it a certain size. I'm seeing this right now as a difficult situation, because if you're telling me there's 50% mobile homes, 50% stick homes, then I understand where you're going is which direction do you want to go? Make this a stick-built subdivision or modular homes, to be able to fit those 50-foot lots. So we're kind of in a dilemma, I am, I can see both sides, but it's like the direction that you would want this subdivision to go.
And I'll voice that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Casabon. I have a couple of questions. First one, Mr. Liner.
But it goes deeper back.
Ross, as I look at this, the final sentence says, "Staff does not have an objection to the request as it adheres to the petitioner's property future land use designation." Would you explain that to me?
Yeah.
You got Ross on? Yes, sir.
Staff has reviewed all the documents provided by the petitioner, looked at the zoning, looked at the area, looked at the future land use plan, and based on that review, it meets the area's requirements to obtain an MHO overlay as far as staff is concerned. Now, of course, the commission hears the evidence and votes, but is it our intention as staff for the Planning and Development Department that it meets the future land use designation and conforms to the area?
Okay. All right. I was just curious on that. Mr. Schull, would you come up for one question? I just have one question for you. When you built your house, was there any trailers there?
None.
There was
None
no
whatsoever.
You were the first person in there?
No, I was actually the third home being built back there.
Okay, you were the
Correct.
third home. There was no trailers in there at all?
No trailers at all.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jerry?
Yes, sir.
The floor is yours.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Yes, and so I know this area well. Just to make sure I knew it very well, I drove through it fully in the last several days. And as far as our planning department, I don't think they made an incorrect determination. But, and I think, Ross, you'll agree with this, it will stay single-family residential whether we do and approve an MHO or we don't approve an MHO, which means it's stick-built. All of these lots are stick-built unless we give an MHO in a singular fashion, one by one by one, okay? We're not giving it in multiple locations with one vote. So the key is that either way, it is single-family residential. And that's why I believe that planning would not have any big heartache over, because there's no request for a zoning change except to add MHO overlay to it, okay? One of the things that I'd really like to see happen for my colleagues, the newer things that have been added to the subdivision, and I would think that in the case of Mr. Kuzan, he bought in disrepair a mobile home. Many homeowners have not taken care of mobile homes that have gone into disrepair post-Katrina, okay? They may still be sitting in parts of this parish that took water, but it doesn't mean that they've been just, not being rented or not being sold. They're not livable, as Mr. Kuzan pointed out. And he even said he has the ability to just about make anything livable, and I believe he does. He seems like a can-do person and a good person. Because of the amount of vacant lots in the subdivision, my belief is, and Mr. Schuler and the other gentleman catty-corner to Mr. Schuler or family have two beautiful single-family living places right there. I believe there's an opportunity, and what I saw in the other subdivisions that have built up over the last 45 years that are also these lots of record, is that more and more of these homeowners, we can't look at this as every person owns only 50 feet, okay? What I saw in the other two subdivisions that are very much like this and within a quarter of a mile as the crow flies, is people wanted to buy next to them if an extra 50 feet came available to the vacant lots they owned, they wanted to buy it because they wanted to build on a bigger piece of property. And because of that, 1.5 of those 2 subdivisions are now predominantly stick-built by 85%. The other half, the back half of the second one, is a combination. I think there's an opportunity for us to see some not so extravagant homes be built in this area on 50-foot, but more preferably 75-foot or 110-foot lots. I think Mr. Kuzan has an opportunity here if at $6,000 to potentially sell to neighbors. But I think if we see more stick-built go up, we're going to see an opportunity for additional stick-builts to go up and additional more stick-builts to go up. And yet we still have the opportunity to decide, do we want to add an MHO for a particular lot? One of my concerns with this property is that it is truly, and we haven't seen those homes, but it's truly right next to 2 of the nicest homes in this subdivision. So what I'm going to do is make a motion to uphold the zoning commission's denial in the hopes that we can get more stick-built going up in here. The lots are certainly affordable, even if you have to buy 2 more. And I think there's some good opportunity here for many of our citizens. So that's my motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bender to uphold the zoning commission denial. Is there a second? We have a second by Mr. Mike Smith. Please vote in favor by raising your hand if you're in favor. Any opposed? One opposed, Mr. T.J. Smith.
Motion passes. Hold on a minute, I gotta remember my count. 10 yeas, 1 nay, 3 absent.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the time. And as Mr. Bender said, thank you for being very respectful on both sides. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to number 5. Yes, ma'am. Huh? We need a I'm sorry. We have a motion, a resolution, motion by Mr. Bender, second by Mr. Stefanski. Okay? Please vote. Please vote. Voting for the resolution. Thank you. To uphold. TJ, were you okay with the resolution? No, okay. Thank you, sir.
Motion is unanimous, 3 absent.
Thank you. Number 5, Stephen Mott appealing the zoning commission approval on March 3rd, 2020 to the rezone 98 acres located on the east side of LA Highway 1081, south of Smith Road, north of Thibodeau Road, Covington, from A1 Suburban District to A-3 Suburban District, Ward 3, District 2. I believe that's Mr. Fitzgerald. Go ahead.
Yes, in the interest of all parties involved, this needs further discourse. I move to postpone this, and I will move to postpone item 6 as well. They work together to the July meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Fitzgerald, a second by Ms. Casabon to postpone number 5 to the July meeting. Please vote. Thank you. Number 6, Stephen Mott appealing the zoning commission approval on March 3rd, 2020 to rezoning 141 acres located on the east side of LA Highway 1081, south of Smith Road, north of Thibodeau Road, Covington, from A-3 Suburban District to PUD, Plan Unit Development Overlay, Ward 3, District 2. Mr. Fitzgerald makes the motion. Ms. Casavant seconded. Please vote.
Motion is unanimous, 3 absent.
Thank you. Seeing nothing else, if no one has anything else, I have a motion by Mr. Davis, second by Mr. T.J. Smith to adjourn. Thank you. Have a great evening and stay safe.